Very nice.
All right, Mob, welcome back to the Cream of the Crop 4th and 31 podcast, your one-stop shop for all things college and SEC football. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss a minute. I'm your host, part of the Killer Bees broadcasting team, the Chad Bolick. And with me tonight, we've got the man, the myth, and the legend, and the coach, Bo. And the man who would pull for Ohio State before he pulls for the St. Paul Saints, Brant Bayless. Mob, we have got a good and a fun show today as we're going to continue with the rivalry week. We're going to do a little bit of trophies. We're going to do some J's up for them South Alabama Jaguars. We're going to do some picks for the rivalry games. And then there's a segment at the end that I just can't stand. So, Mob, as always, leave us your comments, good or bad. We enjoy reading them all. Some of them are quite funny. And also hit us with some substance every once in a while if you don't mind. All right, boys, let's get into this rivalry trophies, your top 5 rivalry trophies. Guys, I will go first, mainly because I'm the host and I do what I damn well please. Okay. At number 5, I'm going to go with the Paul Bunyan Trophy, Michigan State. And I like it because you can take Paul Bunyan off the trophy and carry it around like a little baby. Number 4, the Jules Shillelagh. Notre Dame USC, probably one of the more cooler trophies. Yes, I'm giving Notre Dame some love because I do love the Jules Shillelagh. Number 3, I don't know. I should probably have number 3 at number 2. So let's go to number 2, the Golden Egg, Mississippi and Mississippi State. Probably one of the most underrated heated rivalries in the country. That's probably the best rivalry that you don't know about up north.
Oh, it's nasty. It's nasty. Those are two fan bases that absolutely hate each other. I mean, they despise each other.
Yes. So I moved my 3 up to number 2, and this is probably one of the most unique ones. It's TCU SMU. They play for an iron skillet. So after they get done beating the crap out of each other, they can make cornbread. That's awesome.
Right. That's good.
And my number 1 rivalry trophy is from, I want to call it the Pac-10 because I don't think the Big Ten deserves this credit, the Platypus Trophy. Oregon State. That has got to be the greatest combination of 2 teams, a duck and a beaver, make a platypus, fight me over it. That's probably one of the best ones I've ever seen. All right, Bo, what you got?
Well, I took a different tack. There were a number that I liked, so I'm just going to give you all of them. I couldn't decide on which one they were, and that you're going to hear some that you've already written down. This is in no particular order. I already told you guys last week, Floyd of Rosedale, greatest trophy. It's a pig. They're battling for a pig trophy. Yep. Need I say anything else? Phenomenal. Now,
we all love bacon.
I've been pretty hard on the Big Ten the last 24 hours, but the one thing you guys got, you have the best rivalries and the best rivalry names and trophies, hands down. First one, the Old Oaken Bucket. That's Indiana and Purdue. Purdue. Then you got this one hits home a little bit. We've got the Keg of Nails. That's Cincinnati and Louisville. Now, my wife's from Louisville. I've been up there. It's really nice. Enjoyed it.
So it's a pity pick.
No, I actually like it's a keg of nails. I mean, I got you. Just sounds great.
I'm just messing with you.
I know it. Then I also wrote down the Golden Shillelagh. But you know what they do in that game is the winner. If Notre Dame wins, they put an emerald on the shillelagh. And then if USC wins, they put a ruby. So that thing is actually worth quite a bit of money if anybody could ever get their hands on it. That's why I picked that one. I thought that was pretty cool. That is cool. It's just not a trophy. Yeah. There's actually real value in the item. Paul Bunyan's axe, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Let's see. I also have the Golden Screwdriver. Yes, you heard that right. Golden Screwdriver. That is Hawaii, Fresno. That is Hawaii and Fresno.
Somebody didn't like that pick.
Yeah, staying out west. Yeah, staying out west. The battle for the oil can, Fresno and San Diego State. Then we have the Bourbon Barrel, Indiana, Kentucky. Makes sense. The Old Brass Spittoon, Indiana, Michigan State. Big fan of that one. Love that. This is just a personal favorite. Because this does kind of play into have a connection to Alabama. is the Schnellenberger Trophy. That is awarded between Miami and Louisville, and all the connections and that Howard Schnellenberger has at Alabama, and he was the guy who actually started the U as we know as we knew it. And then I had the last one I wrote down was the Platypus Trophy, and you already hit that one. So there, I couldn't decide on my top 5, so I said the heck with it. I'm just going to read all of them. They're all awesome.
All right, Brant, good luck. We named them all. What you got?
So I actually I did what I was assigned, Bo. I've narrowed it down to 5. All right, but it's so mine's pretty all over the place. But I mean, all of mine obviously y'all have already named. But so at 5 I had Paul Bunyan's axe. I'm a little so it's no secret. I'm a little younger than everybody else on this podcast. Okay. But there was a Disney special that came out a long, long time ago about Paul Bunyan. And I remember as a little kid, and I was watching it ever since then. It's been a top 5 trophy. The Iron Skillet was my 4. So I don't know what it is about. I just feel like it's just cool. It's just it's different. You don't really see much of that. I don't know.
And you can use it. It actually has value.
Exactly. Number 3, I had the Golden Shillelagh. It's just something about that trophy. Man, I didn't even know about the ruby. Or the emerald. I didn't even know about that. That was new information to me, but that's really cool.
Yeah, that makes it even better.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Too bad we have to give props to Notre Dame on, but whatever.
Well, 2, I had the keg of nails. I don't know. It's just something about a beer keg full of nails that just sounds really cool.
Why not?
But number 1, and this one really hits home. You want to talk about hitting home? This one hits home. Number 1, the beer barrel, Tennessee and Kentucky.
Oh, that's a good one.
Something about a barrel of beer just really gets me going, so that's my number 1. All right, that's it. That's my top 5.
Again, that has use and value as well. So,
yeah. And then kind of looking at the choices, there's too many victory bells and too many damn Governor's Cups. Be original.
Governor's Cups, Commonwealth Cup, cup this, cup that.
The Apple
You're right.
Cup.
Yeah. Oh well, I think Apple Cup, that one is underrated too. I like that trophy. That's pretty cool. But
a series dominated by the Huskies, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Been totally dominated by the Huskies.
Yeah, and I will reiterate what Bo said about the Big Ten. As much as we did dog y'all last show, y'all do have the best rivalries in college football.
Hands down.
There's not even a close second. So
tip of the cap to you.
Yep. So good for y'all. All right, let's move on to our next section. We're gonna go Jay's up. Bo's got a little section on the South Alabama Jaguars. Bo, what you got?
Yeah, been a rough year. We've talked about them a little bit on the show. They were 3-7 coming into the game, playing 7-3 Southern Miss Golden Eagles. And by the way, Southern Miss plays Troy to see who will represent that half of the conference to play James Madison in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game, which James Madison is alive for the college football playoff. And Bob Chesney, who's the head coach, has also been rumored to Penn State. So a lot going on in the Sun Belt. South Alabama jumped out to a 35-7 lead in that game. I mean, they were just all over Southern Miss in that game. They came out and did exactly what I was hoping they would do. They got the ball to Devin Voisin, one of their best offensive weapons. They got it to him early. They used him a lot in the screen game. And I tell you, just based on alignment and formation, they out-formation Southern Miss a number of times in that game. And were really able to hit some big plays. But for the game, just looking at some stats here, South Alabama had 449 total yards, 263 rushing. Bishop Davenport, quarterback, was 20 of 23 for 151. Again, it wasn't a lot of down the field passing, but they used the passing game laterally to kind of open up creases on the inside. And the screen game was a nice complement with the run game. And also, too, Jared Hollins, the MGM graduate, he came in. He went 3 for 3 for 35
Vikings.
yards. Do what?
I said Skull Vikings.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but I'm glad to see our local guys playing. And all these players that I'm going to name, they're all from Mississippi, Alabama, along this Gulf Coast area. South Alabama is doing a really good job of identifying some of these younger players. There's another receiver I really like I'm going to talk about in a minute. But Kentrell Bolick, man, he was a beast. 23 carries for $187, 3 touchdowns, 8.1 per carry. And that's against a good Southern Miss defense. And then Keenan Phillips, Bullock's from Mississippi. Keenan Phillips from Georgia. He went 18 for 64 for a tutty. Devin Voisin led the way in catches. He had 7 for 36. And then Jeremy Scott, that's the young man I was talking about, 6'3", 210. 6'3", 210. He led the way in yards. He had 4 catches for 41. But he had a nice catch on a it was either a dig or a slant. It was something across the middle. Got away, got up the field. You see some explosions. He's got a big body, big target. Hopefully we can hide him and he won't leave to a bigger program for some NIL money. But Blaine Myrick led the way. Fairhope Products, he led the way with 7 tackles. And then Cole Blaylock had a pick. Well, I say a pick 6. It was he stepped out at like the 1 foot line. But it was the first play of the second half. They were trying to hit a hitch. The ball hit the receiver's shoulder pad, shot straight up. He catches it, runs down the sideline, and got knocked out at the half-yard line. He's from UMS, so all these local guys, as long as South Alabama will continue that blueprint, it's been a down year for us. But I like what Major Applewhite's doing. And another thing I like about what Major Applewhite's doing, number one, he's hired a really good staff, and number two, throughout all the stuff that's happened this year and all the stuff that happened in the preseason with all the players leaving for the portal, he stayed so positive and just talking about just continuing to develop. And that's what they got to do. I mean, this is a recruit and develop kind of program. So, brighter days ahead for South Alabama. They should have a ton of guys coming back for next year. As they were very young in a lot of spots.
Yeah, and kind of give a shout out to Southern Miss. They are, relatively local to us, but that was a team last year. It was like 0-12, and
the last couple years, ever since Southern Miss unjustly fired Jeff Bauer, their program has kind of been in the wilderness. Now they had the couple of years where they had I forget the guy's name. He went to North Carolina.
Yeah,
why can't I think of it? I cannot think of his name.
Yeah, he was a defensive guy.
Yeah, he was a really good offensive guy, really good offensive coach, and they were really good with him. I mean, and then he left, went to North Carolina. But ever since then, I mean, that you're talking about a program that's been just really struggling to find itself. Then last year, Marshall wins the Conference USA or the Sun Belt Championship, and it meant so much to them in their bowl game they got designated for. That the head coach Charles Huff, who by the way, Saban guy, coached at Alabama, he packed up and left, and he packed his bags and went to Southern Miss and took a bunch of players with him. And the rest of the players that were there just said, "We're not playing the bowl game." And that's why I'm saying bowl games don't matter anymore. Because I mean, here you have a conference champion with a chance to represent themselves one more time in that uniform. They don't even care to play. So, but yeah. I mean, Charles Huff in 1 year has really turned that program around.
Yeah, that was going to be my point, that as bad as Southern Miss was the past couple of years, the transfer portal and new coach, they went from like 0-12 to 7-4. So, I mean, that literally shows you that anything can happen, at any time for any of these schools. But, yeah, South looks, building for the future, as we like to say, and, hopefully they'll be in that Sun Belt Conference Championship game here shortly, as they should. All right, boys. We'll jump off the South Alabama bandwagon and we'll get into these rivalry games. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 6 of them we need to shoot through. First one, Texas Longhorns and the Aggies played in Texas. And I believe Texas is the slight favorite in this one. I'm on the fence about this one. I kind of think the Aggies are going to win. Brant, what you got?
Well, we talked about this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Until I see Texas A&M lose, I just can't predict them to lose. Like, it's just something about Marcel Reed. I don't know what kind of ability he gained over the offseason to where he became an absolute freak. I mean, not to say he wasn't, good last year. He was definitely decent, but, he's coming in for Connor Wegman in and out, and I mean, this year he's really taken that team under his wing and really showed, how good he really is. And he's carrying this football team. And don't get me started on KC Conception, man. That dude's a freak, too. And everybody was like, oh, we want him to go to Alabama. We want to go to Alabama, even though I'm pretty sure he was set on Texas A&M right when he hit the portal. But Texas A&M, man, I can't predict him to lose. I can't see him losing to Texas. I think Arch is just way too inconsistent. nobody's brought this up. I noticed this, and granted, this is more of an opinion more than a fact. I haven't really watched much Texas Longhorns game film. But, man, their O-line, like, last game was really, really, really good. But then it's like I go back 2 weeks, and I'm like, where are they at? And, I mean, it's just like their O-line is just killing Arch Manning. But, nothing they can't grow out of. Sark's an offensive-minded guy. Texas is good at improvising them. And I think they can give them a run for their money. I damn sure don't think it's going to be a blowout. But Texas A&M, I think, will take it. I don't care if they're in Austin or in College Station. It doesn't matter to me. I think Texas A&M is just too good. And the only way I think Texas could really have a shot is if Texas A&M has kind of overlooked this game. Now they're getting ready for the SEC championship. They are in the playoff. I mean, they can lose to Texas A&M, lose the SEC championship game. Texas A&M's getting in the playoff. So I think that they're just kind of preparing correctly. If they do, then I think they win this football game, no problem.
Yeah, well, if they lose this game, it's going to take a lot for them to get in it. Because if Alabama wins, they're in it. And then if Georgia wins, then they would be in it. So if A&M loses this game, chances are they're not playing in that game anyway. Bo, what you got?
It's always tempting to take a home dog in a rivalry. I mean, Texas is getting a field goal. But I can't do it. I'm like Brant. I until somebody beats A&M, I can't go against them. I can't go against the team that has been so resilient all year and has won so many different ways with so many different facets of football. Some games they've run the ball and just grinded out. Some games they've had to score a lot of points. Some games it's been their defense. Some games there's been a nice balance. You can make what you will of their schedule. A lot's been made of that. They've played kind of the bottom part of the Southeastern Conference. But with that, I mean, there's still a lot of quality. There's still quality teams down there and quality talent. I mean, there's NFL talent all up and down those rosters. The difference in this game, very simply to me, is Marcel Reed. I mean, I just can't go against that guy knowing, like Brant said, watching his development from last year to this year. He is an absolute, just like a highlight reel just waiting to happen. I mean, we saw that, okay, so the South Carolina game, everybody wants to keep talking about that, but they were so bad in the first half. Well, there's a reason why there's two halves. They came on in the second half, they buttoned it up, they got it together, and I mean, they steamrolled that second half. It's always tempting to take, especially a team like Texas as a home dog, but I'm going to take Texas A&M. It just really feels like A&M to me is poised to make a run because I don't think there's one facet of their football team that is bad. I mean, some areas might not be great, but I don't think there's anything on their football team that is a negative, in other words. And I just think that everything, while something might not be great, it's still a plus. I mean, they can run it, they can throw it, they've got a solid offensive line, defensive-minded head coach, very good defensive line. They're really good in-game, making adjustments. It's hard to find a weakness with this team. And Brant, just like you said, the inconsistency of Texas, it's been well documented all year. However, if Texas comes out and plays their A-level game, they can win this game. But I'm still staying with Texas A&M.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even mess around with it, guys. I'd just take Texas A&M on the money line. Just lay the little bit of extra juice. It's not much. And that way you don't have to worry about the field goal.
We can't forget, Texas still has NFL talent all over the field. It's not like just because they're having they're not having a very consistent year doesn't mean that they can't win a football game. I mean, we're not saying Texas has no chance. It's just that Texas A&M just hasn't lost. I mean, and every time I thought they were going to lose, they've won. So I mean, I can't go against them.
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously Texas A&M's a better team. I think they're going to go in there because what they have out in front of them and what what's kind of happened to that team in the past in the second half of the season with the letdown. They're going to go in there and take care of business, and they're going to beat Texas.
And also too, don't underestimate what happened last year. I mean, if A&M would have won that game last year in College Station, they would have been in the SEC championship game. Yeah. So Texas kept them out of the SEC championship game last year, and you better believe, I mean, in Texas over the years has really stuck it to Texas A&M. and this is their chance. This is their chance to rise up and give it right back to the Longhorns.
Yep, I agree. All right, we'll move on to, as Bo calls it, the pillow fight of the week. Ohio State and Michigan. Ohio State hadn't won this game since 2019. I think the Wolverines are going to take 5-6 years of frustration and just absolutely unload on the Wolverines. Bo, what you got?
Yeah, well, okay. First of all, I don't want to be insulting to our Big Ten listeners here. This is one of the games in the Big Ten, not a pillow fight. This is usually a physical game. It's always a good game. It's a game I always enjoy watching because it's good high-level football. We've said on this show from the beginning that's all we want is good high-level football. Do you think that Michigan has so much of a mental edge now in this rivalry that they show up to Columbus and win this game? Or where is it? Or is it in Ann Arbor this year? No, it's got to be in Ann Arbor because Michigan planted the flag last year. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But do we think that Michigan has so much of a mental edge over Ohio State now that Ohio State can't get out of their own way? Or, like you said, does Ohio State just come in and just pound the ever-living daylights out of them? I'm more apt to go with that because we've seen the few times, just 2 or 3 times, where Michigan has had to step up and play against some little bit better competition. Oklahoma mainly. I mean, they got it absolutely handed to them. The way they went to USC and got embarrassed in that game, the second half of that game they got out physical. Michigan hasn't been very good the last couple weeks. I know they just blew out Maryland. They had to kick a field goal in the last play of the game to beat Northwestern. They beat Purdue by 5. My point is I don't think they're playing their best football right now. You're talking about Bryce Underwood, I think on the season, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, very pedestrian numbers. I don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know if there's enough balance to counteract this Ohio State defense because when it comes down to it, those windows are going to be pretty tight, and I just don't know. Bryce Underwood has developed enough as a passer this year to really make a difference, because if you go and look at his numbers, his best passing games are against some of their weakest competition, and I just can't see Ohio State giving up a ton to this Michigan offense. And then on top of that, I just can't see for the life of me Ohio State making the same mistake they've tried to make the last 2 or 3 years. Well, we're going to show everybody how tough and physical we are. We're just going to slam the ball. We're going to go B gap to B gap. Why? If Jeremiah Smith is that great and your receivers are that great, use them. For the love of God, use them. Use the weapons you have. So that'll be my challenge to Ohio State, because I know that Ryan Day is watching the show. Use the talent you have. Don't play to Michigan's strength. And it's like they've tried to do that the last couple years to show we're tougher. We're actually the bullies and you're not. And the reality is that Michigan, they're a one-trick pony. They have a good run-stopping defense. So spread them out, put them in space, make them defend you the full width and length of the field. And if the Buckeyes do that, they win this game. But if they get sucked back into that trap like they've done the last couple years, Michigan can hang around. And if they're allowed to hang around, and you're talking about a bounce of a ball play, could really go bad for the Buckeyes. But either way, they're going to be in the college football playoff. So, but I'll take the Buckeyes to win. I'll take the Buckeyes to cover.
Yeah. And Big Ten fans, I was just joking, just giving you a little stick in the side. I actually like Michigan State.
Little jab.
Little jab. You know, I actually enjoy that rivalry too. It's one of the better ones in college football, no doubt.
Is. Very good.
Without a doubt. Brant, what you got?
So, I feel like, for those who don't know, I feel like everybody on this podcast was waiting to ask me this question. And to our Big Ten people out there, there's nobody on the face of this planet that hates Ohio State more than me. There's just something about it. I don't know. I mean, I was a huge fan growing up of, just good football teams. And it just seemed like every good football team I went to, Ohio State always beat them and ruined it every single time. So I was like, you know what? That's my hatred. Now, with that being said, ball respects ball. And Ohio State is damn good. Okay, and there's no getting away around it. I'm not going to say – I think they've been teetering on it all season. You know, they've had really, really close games all season. You know, they've been blowing out the last couple of weeks, but granted, you know, it's been teams that we kind of expect them to take care of. In Ann Arbor, in the big house, I mean, that's not going to be easy. I don't care if Michigan's running or throwing or if they're skipping down the sidelines. That's going to be a tough place to win a football game in. And, you know, all respect to Michigan. I'm a big Michigan lover. It's probably my favorite Big Ten team. But this is the thing. I just don't know if they can do it again. I mean, the only way I see Ohio State losing is they do exactly what Alabama did when Alabama played Oklahoma, and they beat themselves. That is the only way I see Ohio State losing this football game. I completely agree with Bo. I do not think Bryce Underwood has developed enough yet, and which is shocking because after his first couple games, I really, really thought he was going to take off. I thought he was going to be eccentric, and I thought he was going to be what they needed. But, you know, and obviously you can't predict the future. You can't predict. It's that's the thing about football and even basketball, man. Any given day, it doesn't matter. Anybody can win. But with that being said, I just don't see how it works. I mean, unless Michigan really, really, really controls the line of scrimmage, I just don't know how they. I don't know how they beat Ohio State. So I'll pick Ohio State. Ball respects ball. They're really, really good. Just hope and hopefully Julian Sand can keep doing what he's doing. I know he's an ex-Alabama guy. He's a Nick Saban guy. Hopefully he can continue his path and and excel. But I wouldn't sleep on Michigan if you're Ohio State, and I know they probably aren't. But I know a lot of people out there are like, oh, it's Michigan, they're having a down year. But I mean, look, man, I think they have 2 losses on their schedule. I don't know if Michigan's going to be a pushover. So hopefully they can take care of business. But if not, I got to pick Ohio State. Ohio State's been running it. They've been killing it recently. Hopefully they can continue their path.
All right, and one quick point before we move on. Back to what Jeremy said about Michigan being in the head of Ohio State. If Michigan wins this game, then yeah, I think Michigan may be in the head of Ohio State going forward because Michigan should not win this game based on talent. All right, next game, Vandy versus Tennessee. I'm liking Vandy in this one. I'm on the Diego Pavia Heisman train. He's going to run it up, and the Commodores are going to win this one big. Bo, what you got?
Take the over.
Yes.
I think there's going to be points aplenty. Vanderbilt goes to Rocky Top and wins. And I've never felt more confident in my 46 years on this planet of saying that Vanderbilt will beat Tennessee. This just feels like a Vanderbilt win. It feels like the world wants this. I want Vanderbilt to put that committee in such an uncomfortable position for that spot. Now, of course, I mean, Alabama's got to win. Things got to happen, and there's no telling what's going to happen throughout the course of the week. But I want Vanderbilt to be sitting there in one of those spots, tapping their foot louder and louder and louder every day that it gets to Selection Sunday to say, hey, guys, we're still here. And we've gone through this gauntlet. We've beaten good teams on the road. We've won big ball games. We've blown people out. We've done it with style points. We've got the quarterback. We've got the swag. We've got the head coach, which, by the way, I have put up for National Coach of the Year. We've got the brains behind the operation, Jerry Kill. Give us our due. And they have earned every bit of it. That game is going to be, I'm telling that may be one of the most fun games. I could see that game being 41-38, 45-42. I could see an absolute shootout in that game because remember Tennessee, they have a good defense, but their defense is predicated on tackles for loss and sacks. And if you can block that front, you can make plays, and you can make plays down the field all over against Tennessee. So give me the Commodores. Give me the Commodores to win. Give me the Commodores to cover. Give me the Commodores on the cusp of the college football playoff.
Yes, these aren't the commode doors, as we used to say back in the 90s, where they were the easy win on everybody's schedule.
They were another bye week. They were another Purdue.
Yes. This is a fun team to watch, and whether you like him or hate him, Pavi is a hell of a quarterback, and he's very exciting.
Well, Theo Vaughn really likes him.
Brant, what you got?
Man, this is tough. I agree. Take the over. I don't care if it's 100. Take the over. Nothing in my mind. As much as I love the Vanderbilt hype, they were bad and they were slept on for so many years. To finally see them really take the reins of being a really good football team. And let's not forget, guys, they're in Nashville. NIL is not a problem in Nashville. Okay, I can tell you that. They'll find some money to get some players. But I just don't see how you go to Rocky Top on rivalry weekend and beat Tennessee. I just don't know. Like, I believe in Pavia. He's a great quarterback. But, man, just going into Knoxville and beating Tennessee as hard as it is, I just don't see them doing it. And that's the whole thing, and Bo, you made a great point about their D-line and their front seven. They really, really thrive on stopping the run, tackles for loss, and fumbles, and any kind of mess they can make in the backfield. But Joey Aguilar is not a scrub, okay? Joey Aguilar can throw the football. And if that's what needs to be done, if they need to find gaps in the secondary of Vanderbilt, Joey Aguilar can 1,000% do it. I'll take Joey Aguilar in Tennessee and Knoxville. I'll definitely take the over. I don't know, man. It's what's the line sitting at right now, Bo?
Well, I got it earlier in the week. I took Vanderbilt plus 3.5.
3.5
with a money line sprinkle. The over/under is sitting at 65.5 right now. So I think they crush that.
I don't think Vanderbilt covers. I think Tennessee takes the dub, takes the rivalry, and they head into a bowl game, with a nice feeling that they've really done what they were supposed to do this year, especially with the last-minute quarterback change and being able to deal with all the trauma that's affected their program this year. I'm pretty. I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, I'd be pretty proud of what you've accomplished.
Yeah, and I was listening to reports today about people at Tennessee want Heupel to be replaced, and I'm going, for who? Why?
Not
think about what your program was before he got there. We kicked y'all's ass 15 years in a row, and then he got there and beat us 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
So, guys, come on. The guy's a heck of a football coach. He knows what he's doing. I mean, anybody who's put in that situation, the whole Nico Amialiava thing was a disaster. It was a disaster. However you pronounce his name, hell, I don't even know. But he got what he deserved. He's in a desolate wasteland known as UCLA football. He got exactly what he deserved. He tried to strong arm the university on multiple occasions to get more money. He threatened to sit out of the playoff if he didn't get more money. Then he sat out all of spring, and then finally they just said, the heck with it. So they had to find a quarterback basically after spring football. And then for them to be able to get a quality quarterback like Joey Aguilar, who has played a ton of football, you can talk about the interceptions and some of the reckless play at times. The dude has just got that gunslinger mentality. I like watching him play. Y'all know we're all Bama fans here, and we can't stand Tennessee. That dude can straight up play. And for Heupel to do what he did to put a Band-Aid on this thing, and for them to be able to have the season they have with the schedule they've played, the guy's a heck of a coach. And I'll tell you furthermore, if you don't want him in Knoxville, we'll take him in Alabama as an offensive coach.
Yeah, and two things before we move on. One, like you said, we don't like Tennessee, but I was very happy for them getting rid of him. Nico, I'm a leaving. I applauded them for that.
Absolutely. That was 100% the right thing. And Josh Heupel in Tennessee showed you, hey, don't put up with this mess.
Yep.
It's not worth it, because when players start doing that and they put themselves above the program like that, they're no good. They're me guys. They're me guys. You can't win with guys like that.
Yeah. And number 2, and we'll move on, Bobby Hill needs to stay at UT. He's just at the wrong UT. All right. Next game, the Egg Bowl. The Egg Bowl. Ole Miss and Mississippi State. This has got a subplot, if there ever has been a subplot. Mr. Lane Kiffin, what are we doing? We staying? We going? We got one foot in? We got one foot out? What are we doing? Brant, what you got?
First of all, Lane Kiffin ain't going nowhere. Okay, he's staying in Ole Miss. He's staying in Oxford. Okay, I'll address that first. I'll address that first. But let me tell you something. I don't know what it is, and Bo, you could maybe attest to this. I don't know. I don't know what it is about that Egg Bowl, but it is probably one of the most entertaining games of rivalry week every single year. It doesn't matter. It's kind of got the same vibe as the Iron Bowl. It was like it doesn't matter the records. You can throw them out the window. Those teams live and breathe to hate one another. And I know that from personal experience. I've been to Starkville many, many, many times. You know, one of my best friends when I was growing up went there, and I'd always make sure for the Egg Bowl that I was over in Starkville. And, man, there is just clean, you know, not to take this from Georgia Tech, but it's just clean, old-fashioned hate. I mean, they do not like each other. They can't stand it. They don't like to speak the names. So the Egg Bowl's tricky, man. But look, if I got to throw a prediction out there, you're in Starkville. That's the fact they got to pay a fine to use those cowbells every year, I think is enough to say that you can never count Mississippi State out of the Egg Bowl. But it's just so hard to pick against Ole Miss right now. But you know what? I'm freaking doing it. I'm taking Mississippi State in Starkville. They knock off Ole Miss, put Ole Miss close to being knocked out of the playoff, but Ole Miss still makes it in.
Wow. I was going to say Ole Miss kicks a field goal late to go up by 2 scores, and then maybe State score, but Ole Miss is going to win this football game. Bo, what you got?
Yeah, I definitely like Mississippi State with the plus 7.5. But when you were giving your intro about all the intrigue, I thought you were gonna talk about how we didn't know if another player, Ole Miss player, would crawl on all fours and hike his leg like he was peeing like a dog and get a 15-yard penalty that would eventually end up getting a personal foul, so that it would end up costing the game on the extra point. I thought that's where you were going with that.
Yeah, well, I did, but I also like the Lane Kiffin. Just for the record, I think Lane Kiffin needs to stay. But Bo, go ahead.
Yes. As far as the way he's rebuilt his image, I think it would be good for him to stay. And I would also think it would be good for him to stay because if he goes to LSU, boys, that is going to be a behemoth. That is going to be a behemoth. They will control college football for the next 10 years. I am telling you. I believe that. With the money and the resources they're talking about putting behind Lane Kiffin and the recruiting base he's going to have that nobody else is going to be able to touch. Because, guys, those offensive players, they're going to follow those offensive coordinators, man. They're going to follow they're going to follow those guys like Lane Kiffin, and then on top of that, LSU's going to be able to pay him. And he's got no one in that state to compete with to get all those recruits in the state of Louisiana. Nobody.
Hey, don't disrespect Tulane.
Anyway, so as I was saying, he's got nobody to compete with to get those top recruits. LSU's a national brand, and that will be for the next 10 years. That will be the behemoth. And moving forward, think about this, guys, just for 1 second. Think about what DeBoer's building at Alabama when we talked about his recruiting. 10 recruits in the top 80 on the ESPN 300 list. I mean, he's got the number 1 player in Illinois coming, not to mention got commitments from the number 1 player in Alabama. They got some of the best players in California coming this way and some of the best players in the Southeast. But then you got Kirby at Georgia, okay? So if you have those 3, and then you got Elko at A&M and Sark at Texas, my gosh. I mean, just those 5 alone, just those 5 programs alone, with all of that, with their commitment to football and their resources, man, that is going to be some serious football in the SEC. Beginning to the Egg Bowl, this game, you will see everything in this game: fights, pre-game, during the game, post-game, in the stands. It is one of the crazier rivalries in college football. We see it every year, and they absolutely hate each other. I joke around with a friend of mine. He's an older gentleman, but he went to Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and I ask him all the time if he hates himself. But on a serious note, this should be one heck of a ball game. Mississippi State, they would love nothing more than to make sure that Ole Miss can't get into the SEC championship game, and maybe throw a wrench into making the playoffs. And then who knows? Kiffin might be making that announcement. He's leaving. But this is going to be a very, very physical. It's always a very chippy game. I promise you, if you turn this game on, there will be fights before the game, on the players on the field. If not fights, there's going to be almost fights. They're going to have to get everybody out to get everybody separated and restrained. It is an ugly, nasty rivalry. And then somewhere in there, they managed to play football. And I like Ole Miss to get the win. I like Mississippi State to cover the 7.5. And I don't feel good enough to sprinkle that money line, because when it comes down to it, I don't think Mississippi State has enough to get, because they're going to need to get a stop or two late, and I don't know they'll be able to get it. But if you're feeling a little froggy, hey, go ahead, sprinkle that money line. Me personally, I'm going to take the 7.5 and then sit back and watch.
All right, well let's move on to our next one. Let's go through this one real quick. Georgia at Georgia Tech. A few weeks ago, this looked like it could be a Georgia Tech win. I think Georgia goes in there and wins by 2 scores. Brant, what you got?
You got Georgia. Can't kill them, man. Just something about them. I don't know what it is. I can't pick. I agree with you. A couple weeks ago, I would have said, man, Georgia Tech really got a chip on their shoulder. They can really go in here. They might be able to take care of business. But, man, Gunnar Stockton looks unstoppable. Georgia looks unstoppable. Their defense is crazy. I can't do it. I'm taking Georgia all day long.
All right, Bo, what you got?
Yeah, Georgia Tech got their season ended last week. Georgia big in this game. I think they absolutely have their way. My personal feelings, Gunnar Stockton for Heisman. Georgia's my pick as of right now to win the national championship. So, go Dogs.
All right. That'll take us into the main event, the Iron Bowl. Alabama travels to Auburn Saturday night. I'm guessing about 7:30 my time. I'm on the eastern side of the United States. Alabama's won their last 2 in Jordan-Hare by some kind of voodoo. Auburn had that voodoo in the 90s. Before I get to mine, I'm going to let y'all go. I don't really pick scores for Alabama because it's a jinx. So, Bo, what you got?
Going to be a very physical, close ball game. I said on the show yesterday that I didn't really care about this game, in the long term, moving forward. Just talking about the long-term trajectory of Alabama, and this game is not going to change my mind whether Bama wins or loses about the direction of the program. The more I think about it, the more I like Alabama. They've got the better football team, better coaching staff, better quarterback, better defense. In a lot of ways, they're a lot better than Auburn. But at the same time, you know as well as I do, this is going to be a very highly contested game. It's going to be played maybe in the mid-20s. But the fact that Auburn has an interim coaching staff, a freshman quarterback, I got to think that Kane Womack's got something up his sleeve this kid's never seen, and he's going to pull it right at exactly the right time. Bama wins. Bama wins a close one. The line's 5.5. I actually took Auburn to cover the 5.5, and I hope I'm wrong. It's one of those I hope I'm wrong. But I think Bama wins this game 3-4 points. I'm not saying it comes down to a last-second field goal. 24-20 is just kind of what I feel.
God, I hope it doesn't come down to a last-second field goal. We're screwed.
I hope not. But
all right, Brant, what you got?
Man, you want to talk about cream of the crop. This is it. Alabama-Auburn is the greatest rivalry in college football. It doesn't matter. Throw out the records. This is the thing that people don't understand up in the Big Ten and maybe even some in the Big 12. We don't have NFL football games. We don't have anything in Alabama. It's Alabama or Auburn. That's it. Those are your two. You get to pick one. It's from birth. You pick one. You go about your life. Okay. We have the Saints, maybe. That's Louisiana. You have the Braves for baseball. That's in Atlanta. We're talking about an in-state hate fest, and you get that with Alabama and Auburn. So when it comes to the game itself, I really want to think that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb and Kane Womack have looked at the film and really figured out that Auburn is not a bad football team. I mean, Auburn has every piece to be a good football team. We weren't coached right in the beginning, sure. I don't think they have gotten blown out in God knows how long. So when it comes to the case of Auburn versus Alabama, Auburn's going to keep it close. Auburn is going to play this game. This is Auburn National Championship. Auburn wants to ruin Alabama. That is their goal. They want to beat us in Jordan Hare, then go to Toomer's Corner and party all night. That's all they want to do. They don't care. They don't care about a bowl game because they need to win this game to be bowl eligible, I believe. They don't care about a bowl game. They don't care about postseason Alabama. All they want to do is beat Alabama, ruin our chances, and go home. They can sleep well at night. And I've said this a million times. I said, look, even if you're an Alabama fan, man, that is some kind of loyalty. Okay, I mean, there's people that'll lay down in traffic for Auburn football. But end of the day, I gotta think that Alabama's going to be ready, and I gotta think that Ty Simpson is finally going to hit that stride we need him to. Because believe it or not, man, because we win this game SEC championship, I'm going to treat this game for us as you need to get it done. Because granted, I don't care if it's close, I don't care if we beat them by 50. But we need to beat this football team. I mean, this is where Ty Simpson really needs to take that step up to be that playoff quarterback that we thought we had for the first 8 weeks of the season. Because recently we just haven't seen that Ty. He's been really inconsistent. But I'm not a Ty hater. I'm not going to sleep on Ty Simpson. If he's done it once, he could do it again. Ty Simpson's a really, really good quarterback, and I'm happy to have him as our quarterback. At the end of the day, I'm going to take Alabama. Obviously, I would never pick against Alabama. But it's going to be close. It's going to be gritty. You know how that field works. It's I think the voodoo for the last 2 years we've been there has worked in our favor somewhat. But so I hope that we can, manage the game correctly, go in there and do what we're supposed to do, take care of business, walk out of there with a win, and head to the SEC Championship with our heads held up high, knowing that we have a chance to make the playoff and really, really make a run.
Guys, for me, it's this simple. If Ty has time, Bama wins. If Auburn gets pressure, and Ty's having to speed up his progressions, Auburn's going to be right there with a chance to win at the end.
Yeah, and last thing on this I'll say is I agree with Bo. I would take Auburn in the points. Auburn will 100% cover this game. There's no doubt in my mind. And, of course, I'm an Alabama fan. I'm not picking against Alabama. I think Alabama could win by like 1 to 3 points. And like Brant said, I'll be happy with a 1-point win. I don't care. All right, boys, getting towards the end of the show. And we'll go to our I Can't Stand It segment. And I want to say I can't stand how fast this dang season's gone. It just seems like yesterday we were all crying because we lost to Florida State, and now we're all here at the end of the year hoping for an Iron Bowl victory. So those 3 months have gone by so fast, and they go by quick every year. And I just can't stand how fast these football seasons kind of go by. Brant, what you got?
So I can't stand it. It's pretty difficult just to find one thing to complain about, even though I complain about everything. When it comes to the I can't stand it, I can't stand the Notre Dame bias. I cannot. It just bothers me to my core, and I'm not even a Notre Dame hater. I don't mind Notre Dame, but the bias that not only the committee, but the AP poll had for however many weeks until the college football playoff came out towards Notre Dame is insane. I don't care who you are. If let's just say I don't know where they started, but they started out 0-2. They lost their 2 biggest games at the beginning of the season and were still ranked. They were 0-2 and ranked. I have never seen that, ever. Now, granted, there could just be me not knowing polls correctly, but I cannot stand the Notre Dame bias. I don't care that they have the history of this fantastic program. I don't care that they've won a lot of national championships. If they start out 0-2 and they've won all these games, now, granted, I guess the last 4 or 5 weeks they've been blowing these guys out of the water. But even then, Notre Dame is just like, they're good, but the bias towards Notre Dame of like, it wouldn't even matter if they were good. They could win these games by 5 or 6 points, and I still think the committee would have them in the exact same spot that they're in now. And that's what bothers me, is I feel like there's no getting rid of Notre Dame. If you're and anybody in the Big Ten, anybody in the SEC, anybody in the Big 12 can understand this monologue that I'm going on. Because if it comes down to Notre Dame gets an extra bye week, they don't have a conference championship. So if Notre Dame gets an extra week's rest, and let's just say BYU or Utah somehow has an ability to sneak inside the playoff, and they get snubbed because Notre Dame didn't play a conference championship game, and they get to sneak in the playoff at number 10, that other team is going to be pissed. And they're going to say, well, why does Notre Dame get in? They didn't play a conference championship. They lost 2 games. They lost 2 of their ranked games, to Texas A&M and Miami. Why are they getting in the playoff? And then it's going to spark a whole different argument. And it tackles onto the whole, if you go to the SEC championship game, and you lose, you're not getting in the playoff. I've seen so much of that. Like if Alabama gets the SEC championship and they lose to Texas A&M, they're not getting in the playoff. If Alabama gets to the SEC championship and doesn't, and let's just say they lose, they get their 3rd loss, and they don't make the playoff, I think Alabama would secede. The state of Alabama would secede from the union again. I just don't see it happening. I do not see that going over very well, because you can't punish a team for making a championship game. You can't punish a team for playing in one of the hardest conferences in college football, making it, only having 1 loss, making it to that championship game, and then losing. You cannot punish them for that. And if they punish us, when, I know y'all remember this, when TCU lost their conference championship game, however many years ago that was, when it was 4 teams, and didn't even drop a spot, Alabama will have a field day with that. So that's my I can't stand it.
Well, real quick to your point about that year, Alabama beat the crap out of Kansas State, who won that league. So
they blew them out.
Point well taken. All right, Bo, time for the final I Can't Stand It.
Yeah, so to give our viewers a little history lesson on why we do I Can't Stand It, because there's some buddies of mine that for 20 years I watched Bama games with. My friend Kent, his father, Big Kent, and then Big Kent's friend Johnny. And watching a Bama game with Johnny is an experience within itself. And we just started this thing, you're with your boys, you're getting rowdy. And every time something would happen, somebody was like, oh, I can't stand it. I can't. And it just kind of stuck. And then my wife, being the elementary school teacher she is, she said, let me make you a shirt. So she got these iron-on letters, I can't stand it. And so I would go over there and I'd wear the shirt, and we just got the biggest kick out of it. And so this is just kind of a tribute to my buddies that I watched games with for 20 years. And Johnny moved to Florida. We don't get to see him a whole lot. We'll see him this weekend. Can't wait to see you this weekend, big guy. But just to let them know, that all the good times we had together and watching all those games. But my I can't stand it moment this past week was Kansas State. I'm going to read you something so shocking you're not even going to believe it yourself. Kansas State rushed for 472 yards. That's 11.2 per carry. They had runs of 44, 37, 66, 33, 58, 80, 33, and 24. They had 8 plays of over 20-plus yards. Joe Jackson, the starter, not to be confused with the outfielder for the White Sox.
Or the singer.
Yeah. Had 24 carries for 293. That's a 12.2 average, boys and girls. 3 touchdowns. The backup, he went 5 for 89 and a touchdown. That's 17.8 per carry. And they freaking lost. That sounds almost impossible. That you could run for almost 500 yards in a game and lose. I can't stand it. I have no other explanation for that, but that was just absolutely Utah pulled a rabbit out of a hat there at the end of the game and was able to win. But my goodness, when I was looking through the box scores. That's one of my routines on Sunday mornings. I get up and I look through the box scores and see whose wins were fraudulent and were not. And I saw that and I said, you have got to be kidding me. So Kansas State Wildcats, yeah. I can't stand it.
Well, in the words of Ace Ventura. All right, Mob. Well, that'll do it for this edition of the 4th and 31 podcast. We want everybody to have a happy Thanksgiving. It's coming up Thursday. We will probably see you after the holidays here. So, watch a lot of football. Watch the Iron Bowl. That's going to be the best game of the year. I mean, come on. Maybe Michigan and Ohio State second. But
keep them at 11 a.m. Don't worry about them.
Yeah, that's the big noon kickoff for the best game in the Big Ten. But, hey, keep those comments coming, guys. And we even love the petty insults at times.
Oh, I do.
Right.
I absolutely love it. No substance, just insults. All you're doing is telling me I'm right.
So there you have it. There you have it, Big Ten. Come on with the substance, guys. That's what we're here for. We want
That's
conversation.
what we're here for.
We
have
don't
a
want to
good,
agree all
meaningful
the time.
college football conversation. That's what we want.
We don't want to agree all the time. That's why we love picking on y'all. We want to hear from you. We really do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm the Chad Bolick for Coach Bo and Brant Bayless. We will see you next time. Out.
God bless.